Hello viewers. This week on Those Pesky Dames we're going to be talking about slut shaming, which is a topic so huge that I can't say everything I'd like to. Before we begin, this brings up some potentially triggering issues, so I'd like to issue a trigger warning for this video before I start. So, sluts. Slut, whore, tramp, skank are words, along with a whole host of others, used to insult women. When a person calls a woman a slut, what they usually mean is, I disapprove of her sexual activity or perceived sexual activity and wish to bring her down for it. So things which can get you called a slut include sleeping with your partner, sleeping with someone who isn't your partner, having sex with one person, having sex with more than one person ever, wearing a short skirt, wearing a tight dress, wearing makeup, flirting, having big boobs. And crucially, the thing is, you don't even have to do half of those things. People just have to think you are. One thing I want to say immediately is that judging someone else's sex life or perceived sex life is not okay. Whether a woman sleeps with 5 people in a week or with nobody ever, it's none of your fucking business. So stop imposing your own standards on other people and making them feel really shitty for no reason. Okay? Secondly, being a woman and enjoying sex is not a crime. We have such a messed up standard at play for women and sexuality in our society. Earlier this year I attended the UK Slut Walk along with, I think, most of the other dames, and Slut Walk is something that I'm going to talk a little bit more about in a minute. My sign read, this virgin whore dichotomy is getting pretty fucking old. And it is. On one hand, women are meant to be good girls and be modest and, God forbid, never ever want to have sex, because if you do, then you're a slut or an animal or unnatural. But on the other hand, we're meant to look hot and sexually available at all times, and if we don't do that, then we're prissy or frigid or stuck up. There's no room for manoeuvre. How are we meant to express our sexuality in a healthy way? There is no alternative. We're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. Slut Walk happened because of the ridiculous comments of one Toronto police officer, Michael Sanguinetti. He said that women should avoid dressing like sluts in order not to be victimised. This implies that if you dress provocatively or like a slut, then you deserve everything that's coming to you, that you're asking for it. And you're not. Rape or sexual assault or sexual harassment is never, ever the victim's fault. Ever. You are not to blame for it. I promise. Aside from his comments being victim blaming and slut shaming, they represent a myth that we have in society about rape. That rape is something which only happens to women who are slutty or who are asking for it or who are dressed provocatively. I'm going to give you some facts about rape which are inevitably heartbreaking, but unless we begin to acknowledge these facts and talk about them, we're never going to dispel the idea that rape happens to women who are sluts. UCLA researchers found that 54% of teenage boys thought it was acceptable to rape a woman if she led him on. So don't tell me that we don't need to keep pointing out that rape is a bad thing, because clearly not everybody knows it is. 9 out of 10 rape victims are women, and women of colour are more likely to be raped than white women. 2/3 of rapes are committed by somebody the victim knows. Nearly 1/3 of people in the UK think that a woman is partially or totally responsible for her rape if she was drunk. Drunken consent is not consent. 1/3 of people in the UK believe that a woman is partially or totally responsible for her own rape if she was flirting. Flirting is not consent. She isn't responsible. Calling someone a slut has really serious implications. It's something that's used not just to insult women, but to devalue them as well. So if a woman is seen as a total slut, then it's okay to pester her for sex, to sexually assault her, to harass her, to rape her. After all, she's just a stupid slut who was asking for it, right? The idea is that sluts are less than people, and it's a way to justify treating women like shit and basically like they're subhuman. Slut shaming feeds rape culture. In the UK last year, 5 men in Preston were cleared of charges of gang rape because the woman had, in a previous MSN conversation, once said that she'd fantasized about the idea of group sex. When she arrived at the house of the guy that she'd been talking to, she was greeted by 6 men, all of whom expected to have sex with her. When she refused, because she only wanted to sleep with the one guy she'd gone to see, they raped her. The judge presiding over the case said that her credibility was shot to pieces because of that one conversation. This case is absolutely sickening. Admitting to having a fantasy is not a crime, nor does it justify horrific things being done to you. Desire for something is not consent to the act happening. What those men did to her was rape, and they should have been convicted for it. We get this equation drilled into us that woman plus sex equals bad woman. That by having sex she is deserving of insult, of being ostracised for it, of being punished for it. Sex before marriage for women used to be a massive taboo. It could ruin your life. And thankfully we've got over that particular hurdle. But female sexuality still remains as a bad thing in our society. Controlling women's sexuality is a way of controlling women. Slut is a term used by women as well as men. Through internalised sexism, women are encouraged to compete for male approval and male attention, which translates into a very limited kind of power. As Laura Tenenbaum said, slut bashing is a cheap and easy way to feel powerful. If you feel insecure or ashamed about your own sexual desires, all you have to do is call a girl a slut, and suddenly you're the one who is good and on top of the social pecking order. I've not been able to cover everything that I would like to in this video, so please get in touch. Video responses or email or Tumblr posts or comments or tweets or whatever. Tell us about your experiences with slut shaming. Thank you for watching. Bye.